Ben & Jerry's is an American company founded in 1978 by Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield. This company sells ice cream and sorbets in more than 34 countries all around the world. Its headquarters are located in South Burlington, Vermont, United States. Ben & Jerry's are well known not only for their amazingly tasty ice cream, but also for their environmental and social engagement. The brand supports many charities. In this presentation, we are going to assess Ben & Jerry's business performance using two different frameworks, the 4 V's and the performance objectives. We will then compare and contrast our results.
The first of the V's is volume. Ben & Jerry's operations are located and widespread in both North America and Europe. Its manufacturing plants can be found in Vermont, Nevada, Missouri, and Ontario. And since 2014, when Ben & Jerry's decided to penetrate the European market, also in the Netherlands and in Italy. Even though the firm does not have operations in the rest of the continents, it still exports its products to Asia and Australia. Currently, Ben & Jerry's products can be found in over 33 countries worldwide. The vast amount of Ben & Jerry's operations that currently exist suggests that high production levels are required in order to satisfy the market's requirements. Therefore, Ben & Jerry's volume can be considered to be relatively high. However, as mentioned earlier, Ben & Jerry's offers a wide variety of products, meaning that each product range can have different product volumes. An example of this is given in the firm's 2014 annual report, which states that Ben & Jerry's ice cream bars are produced in lower volumes compared with the other product ranges. Although volume levels can vary from range to range, the overall production volumes of Ben & Jerry's can still be considered high. Such high volume operations are associated with lower unit costs as they achieve economies of scale, but also with high repetition and small simple tasks for the workers. Regarding the variety, Ben & Jerry's can be considered to have low variety as a result of the high standardization of the ice cream manufacturing process. Even though Ben & Jerry's is producing wide ranges of different products, with each range including different flavors, customers do not decide the different components and toppings of their ice cream. All the products are well defined to the customer. The low variety in the operations of Ben & Jerry's leads to low unit costs. Variation in demand is concerned with the levels of demand for a product throughout a year. Typically, ice cream has always been enjoyed during the summer months of the year, allowing us to describe it as a seasonal good. Seasonal goods tend to have high variation in demand since their demand varies from season to season. Extensive research tells us that as temperature increases, so does the demand for ice cream. As can be seen on the graph, between the years 2013 and 14, during the summer months, ice cream sales were at peak, and as the weather got colder, they reduced rapidly. However, Ben & Jerry's is considered by many to be a premium brand. Such brands tend to have high customer loyalty, meaning that even though during the winter months, when the overall demand for ice cream diminishes, the small levels of demand that still exist in the market might shift towards Ben & Jerry's. Therefore, Ben & Jerry's might not experience such high variation in demand compared to the remaining ice cream market. In order to cope with the changing demand patterns, Ben & Jerry's introduces new flavors during the months where demand is low, with the aim of persuading consumers to buy the product and thus making it easier for the firm to predict the market's demand. Hence, Ben & Jerry's experiences only relatively small variation in demand. The final V stands for visibility. Although Ben & Jerry's website provides detailed information on how their products are made, the customers cannot see how the firm operates. The ice cream are already made when they are sold in supermarkets, scoop shops, or even by machines. For these reasons, the production process is not very transparent, and hence Ben & Jerry's has low visibility. However, the firm's visibility is high in Vermont. In fact, the ice cream factory in Vermont offers 30-minute guided tours for customers who can see the production room from a glazed-in mezzanine. Moreover, during the tour, guides are there to answer any questions about the operations. This high visibility is a valuable asset for the firm's customer loyalty in Vermont and more generally the U.S. market. Here's our interpretation of how Ben & Jerry's fits the 4V's framework.
Now, moving on to the performance objectives framework. Here is our polar diagram to summarize our analysis. Firstly, the quality objective. Ben & Jerry's can be said to maintain the strictest standards, both in terms of product and operations quality, which is why they are rated extremely highly in terms of quality on the performance objectives polar diagram shown on the slide. The company's catchphrase is from cow to cone, and this is particularly relevant to the firm's quality assurance protocols. At every step in the process, measures are taken to ensure quality is high. A major part of Ben & Jerry's quality control procedures is the Infinity QS Proficient Enterprise Quality Hub, which uses statistical process control to give real-time analysis of how manufacturing processes are performing. Ben & Jerry's believe there are 4 main measurable attributes of its products: weight, volume, and air addition and inclusion amounts. Another way of monitoring and comparing data is through what they call visual cut-ups, whereby, as shown in the video, a pint of ice cream is cut into 4 quadrants and the quality of each is checked to make sure that a proper amount of chunks and air inclusions appear in each serving. Ben & Jerry's has a very high speed in terms of delivering the product to the customer. The firm has a multitude of outlets spread across the UK, so customers can expect immediate service in these stores as well as in supermarkets and from vending machines. However, the process of making Ben & Jerry's ice cream is not as quick. According to the firm's website, there are 12 stages involved in the process, with inventories of stock held within each. Ben & Jerry's has high external speed but low internal speed, so we have marked speed as medium on our polar graph. The next performance objective is dependability. Ben & Jerry's is highly dependable because they have high inventories and long product lifetimes, so they should always be able to provide consumers with high quality products. Ben & Jerry's is also highly flexible. It has high product and mix flexibility, as shown by the many different available flavors, different product ranges, such as frozen Greek yogurt, and different flavors being available at different times of year. However, due to the lack of seasonality previously discussed, Ben & Jerry's has low volume and delivery flexibility, since this would be unnecessary. Therefore, we have recorded Ben & Jerry's as having medium flexibility on our polar diagram. The final performance objective is cost. In the UK, a 500ml tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream typically can be bought in a supermarket for about £4, whereas this Tesco own brand 900ml tub is available for £2. That's £8 per litre versus £2.44 per litre. This shows that Ben & Jerry's is an expensive premium product, so it can be said that cost is not a particularly important performance objective for the firm.
Consideration of the previously mentioned factors in business performance is important, but Ben & Jerry's also has a strong corporate social responsibility, or CSR policy, which the 4V's and performance objectives fail to include in their analyses. Therefore, the 4V's or the performance objectives may not give an entirely accurate picture of the company as a whole, because their CSR initiative plays a big part building the firm's brand image, and in doing so, creating a competitive advantage. Examples of the firm's CSR policy are its fair trade policy for buying ingredients and its climate justice policy, which encourages the use of 100% renewable energy by 2050. Another example of the limitations of the frameworks used in this video involves the variety V. Theoretically, Ben & Jerry's would have a low variety due to standardized production. However, in Ben & Jerry's ice cream outlets, there is high variety as the customer is given the option to pick and choose what they fancy. These are only 2 examples of where the frameworks used in this video failed to capture the whole picture. Ultimately, one of the main, if not the main, reasons for Ben & Jerry's success has been its brand image. The image that has been built up over the time based on the firm's CSR policies and its willingness to adapt to consumer demand. Both of these factors are not fully explored by either the 4V's or the performance objectives, and therefore it is clear to our group that to fully assess Ben & Jerry's business performance, further frameworks must also be considered.